Good morning. We are so happy to be with you today. I'm here with Jess. She's just not in the picture yet. We are so grateful to be here this morning, to spend time with Jesus. And I think what I was thinking about on my way here, and some of what Jess was even just saying now, is there's grace for us this morning. And I want to choose today to step into the grace that is sufficient for me in Him. And I think that's just where we want to start, is just by stepping into the path of grace that He's already paved for us today. Freely and confidently. I think sometimes I can be a little timid with it, like, is it gonna really be enough for me today? Yeah. And I think even just confirmation from what you were saying and what I felt He was saying to me is that it is sufficient for us today. So I want to receive that. I'm excited we get to do that together.
Me too. I love that you're saying that, because a lot of times when I'm driving here, I'm like, Lord, anything like on your heart that you want to tell me in advance. And I just, in simplicity in my heart, just heard the word grace, and you're like, all right, well, yeah. And sometimes you're like, am I making this up? But I don't know. I'm excited to see how He expands what He wants to tell us.
Yeah.
There's something about his grace that he wants to expand our understanding of, maybe, and have us like be able to enjoy. Because Sydney was just telling me, like, I see this grace on your life, and I'm like, whoa, I don't necessarily feel that. But there are some days that I do feel it. So, not that it's all about feelings or any of that, but the experience of what we have been given is such a gift when we get to experience it. So,
and the experience doesn't mean that, like, oh, I have it today. Like, what if the experience is like the cherry on top, but it's like that's the baseline. Like, we always have it, but the experience comes, like, it ebbs and flows. But I think sometimes we think that the truth ebbs and flows with the feeling.
Totally.
But
I do that.
Yeah. But what if the feeling is just the reminder that it's always there?
Yeah.
You know?
I think so. Yeah. Oh, God. Sometimes the words that we have, the language we have, feels so small, too small. Like, to say that you are faithful, just, it feels like not a big enough word to describe, like, your commitment and covenant with us, like how immovable it is, and steadfast and ready and unchanging, like it never changes. Your commitment to me. You're faithful, God. You're faithful. Always, always, always faithful. You do not change. You don't ebb and flow based on feeling. You don't ebb and flow based on even my decisions. You are always faithful. You are always generous to me. You are always bestowing the riches of your grace upon me, upon us. So this morning we let ourselves just like stand under the waterfall of your beautiful grace, God, and of your love, of your faithfulness and your covenant toward us. There's nothing that heals us more than knowing that we are loved. Receiving your love, God, and letting ourselves be settled as whole before you, because it allows us to join in our union with you and not stand outside of it because of something we believe about you or about us that isn't true. It allows us to come in where you want us, inside your home. We are your children, and we have a place in your house. And your house is your heart. It is your very being. Jesus, we praise you this morning because you have torn down every dividing wall that has separated us from the knowledge of the love of our Father. You tore it down through your example, through your actions. You tore it down through the shedding of your blood and through your resurrection. And you tore it down before the foundations of the world. I was just reading that in Hebrews. And you tore it down before our decisions. You already had this plan inside of your being as an outworking of who you are. Your response is who you are. And you have completed the work before the foundation of the world. This is wild to think about. And maybe just even this perspective about our salvation will help us understand grace a little more today. God's been speaking to me in a conversation I sort of started talking about with Julie last time I was here, about how he was trying to show me, like, he's not responding to things in the same way that we understand response. We kind of see it as an equation. You know, we do this, he does that, which I understand, and there's a thread of truth through it. But he's like, but what if, like, there's a bigger way to understand how all that works, and it's not like responsive, but everything that we experience of what we would call God's response to is just the revelation of God. Like, God reveals himself this way in this circumstance. And I don't know, like, it seems like semantics, but it matters. I know it matters because he's having me really think about it. And when I start thinking about that, like, in regards to, like, our sin, my choices, even in a day. And he's like, what if you think about it this way? I'm not, like, watching and responding the way you guys do, but I am covenanted to you. Like, there's nothing that can break my covenant to you. I'm on your path with you, and I'm gonna stay on it. And every time when you veer away from me on the path, what I do is I reveal myself so that you can see. And I'm like, oh, it is semantics, but it really matters. Because I think in the responsive mindset, sometimes there's a fear attached to it that he's gonna somehow respond differently next time. And we keep telling ourselves, he's not. And it's true that he's not. But when I think of it in terms of revelation instead, like, that fear kind of isn't in the conversation anymore. It's like, well, of course he's going to reveal himself as he is. He can't lie. He's going to reveal himself in truth in every single circumstance of my life and my will and my choices, and of our life and of humanity's will and humanity's choices. I'm just like, whoa, it makes you just stand in wonder and awe and want to know more. Teach me more, God. That revelation of who he is, this is the kind of God that he is. It's what his heart is like, that he reveals himself. He makes himself known. And the making himself known is the healing and cure for everything that is broken. And maybe this too is like a definition of grace that can begin to seep into our mindset. And maybe we can begin to see it not so much as like a responsive choice, but more as just a steady, like, unstoppable revelation of God in all things. There's something beautiful about that in my heart. Does that make sense to you?
I feel like there's like almost like momentum in that.
Yeah.
Like in knowing that in every circumstance and every situation, it's opportunity for us to know him more and have greater revelation of him.
Yeah.
Like almost like the cause and then the response kind of mindset feels like broken and like disjointed. But the concept of like flowing, almost like that waterfall, like the flowing revelation of God, there's like momentum in it. There's like, I feel encouraged by that, you know? But the whole like, I do, and then he responds, that feels like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just feels like a little broken up. And
I
like,
love that picture.
It feels like stunted. I feel stunted in that, you know? Like I'm either growing or I'm not. I'm succeeding or I'm failing, you know? But the concept of his flowing revelation in every circumstance and every season, it feels more like, okay, we're on this journey together, like the covenant's unending.
I love that picture too. Yeah, it does. It feels exactly like that to me too. And like us understanding our relationship that way for a while, it's like God's like, I'm gonna let you understand it that way for a bit, because it's moving you forward, even though you feel like, like. And then when he's, I don't know, maybe when we're ready in our own hearts to ask, and also willing to receive, he's like, okay, let me show you a more full picture of what's actually happening. So he's taught me not to despise the times where I have actually grown in that feeling. Mm-hmm. But he's like, yeah, but okay, now let me show you that it's actually bigger than that, and it's actually better than that. Yeah. He's so kind.
It's kind of like when you start to see like the Word of God, like, you start off with seeing it as these like parables and these lessons and these stories, and it's like all these little separate things. Mm-hmm. But then as you get to know his heart, you see that it's not these separate like stories or these separate instances. Like it's all threaded together in one big story. I think it's similar to that. Like we have all these circumstances that they feel isolated and they feel separate. But then as you grow in maturity and wisdom, you start to look back and you see how it's just, you see the thread of him throughout the entirety of it,
Oh, yeah. Sometimes I just don't even have words. It's just like, yes, these are the things that matter. This is the underlying breath of like what the human soul needs, and also what is eternal in us. And thank you, God, that we even are drawn and gathered to be seeking this. You initiated that. We didn't. We were self-centered and self-focused, and still are in many ways. But somehow you broke through the noise and you allowed for us to hear your voice in this context of this physical life, where our ears are filled with all kinds of other narratives, and we just believe them without question so often, where our eyes even can't see you physically, but our spiritual eyes get glimpses of you all the time, and have had so many experiences of seeing you in the inside and have experienced you there, God. Thank you for wanting to share yourself with us and for making yourself known to us. And we praise you for your grace, but in doing that, we're praising you for who you are. You are full of grace. It's just what comes out of you as you are known, and there's no shadow of turning in you. This is who our God is, and this is who he is toward you, always and evermore, and it will not change. And we hear his invitation, come believe this, come and see who I really am, and believe who I really am. And in doing so, you will discover who you really are, and you will find peace. You will find rest for your souls and purpose and companionship. There's so much beauty to be found from the inside out, because we are seeking your face, God. So as always, when we gather with you here, God, we say, come and speak to us. We long more than anything for your voice alone. I pray that you speak to every heart that gathers with us to meet with you today or tomorrow or whenever someone might listen to this. God, I ask you to have your words and your thoughts and your ideas and your heart posture be poured out in abundance to them, and that it would be a rich treasure given away from your heart to ours today. I will sing of your goodness. I will sing of your love. Though the seasons come quickly, you have always been enough. And though the night may get darker, and though the waiting seems long, you have always been faithful to remind me of your love. You are good. In the morning I'll say you are good. In the evening I'll say you are good. You are good to me. You have always been patient, and you have always been kind. You're consistent through the ages. Oh, what a friend of mine. So I'll remind my soul to bless you, standing firm upon your truth, knowing you cannot be shaken. I've seen what you can do. You are good. In the morning I'll say you are good. In the evening I'll say you are good. You are good to me. Oh, you are good. In the morning I'll say you are good. In the evening I'll say you are good. You are good to me. You keep on getting better. 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 Keep on getting better. You keep on getting better. You keep on getting better. This is our testimony, God, of you, and we sing it out. We declare it in the earth. This is who our God really is. He keeps on getting better with every revelation that we receive, with every new sight of him that we are granted. This is our story. This is what we have experienced with you. And the journey, God, to the discovery of you is not always easy or clear, but we can confidently say that when we reach the sight of you, every time we say, you are better than I thought. You are so much better than we've imagined or declared about you. You keep on getting better. Every season, every part of our story, you keep on getting better in our sight, God. It's true. And we want to just tell the earth, we want the sound of our praise to go forth, for you are so worthy.